Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing another comic book review, Doctor Who comic book review of a 10th Doctor comic book of all things. Year 3 of the comic series, issue 7, year 3 even. So 10th Doctor, year 3, issue 7. Vortex Butterflies, I think it's called, part 2 of that. It's a 4-part story, so probably didn't help that I just randomly picked this one up, but either way, I like the cover. The cover is usually what catches me with these things, as always, as they display them cover front wise, obviously, surprisingly enough, and as such you've got something that almost feels like an amalgamation and a hybrid, or whatever, if you will, of Heaven Sent and Hellbent. And what I mean by that is, like, obviously Hellbent was very much set on Gallifrey, but Heaven Sent was very dark and eerie and gothic horror-esque, and I get that from this cover with the, skulls in these jars, with the seal of Rassilon on them, on the sort of podiums, and that almost kind of like a darker version, even more darker, sort of a Philip Hinchcliffe version of like the Futurama heads in jars sort of thing, and then you've got this like cable with the Doctor sort of figuring out what's there, and has the Sonic and that. David Tennant's Doctor looking pretty cool in the sort of centre of the front cover. Vortex Butterflies there, part 2, or at least I think that's what it says. If I ever misread things, it's because I'm dyslexic, so sorry about that. But yeah, Doctor Who, big Doctor Who 1996 TV movie and our John Pertwee logo, 10th Doctor Adventures, year 3, and then there it's got 3.7, which I assume means the 3rd issue of the 7th series. You've got a bio on the inside of the Doctor, Gabby and Cindy, what happened previously, Titan Comics Twitter, website, Twitter and Facebook to contact them about feedback and that. Then you've got like sort of subscription thing, you've also got the variant covers as well, which kind of like this one, just kind of looks really cool with them coming out of the sonic screwdriver. And then you kind of just got the sort of little comic strip thing at the back. What's out this month from Titan Comics, although bearing in mind this is a very old issue, or an older issue now. And then variant covers of the next issue, although I kind of like the regular issue front cover. And then on the back, one of the last pages have got the Vortex Butterfly part 2 even of 4, who it's written by, artists, colorists and letterists, and then they've also got in memory of this person as well, because this person unfortunately passed away in 1962 to 2017. And I looked up quickly before doing this review and or video. That person was like an artist, letterist, artist and stuff, and that. So there was a lot of now going into the story, there was quite a lot of sort of techno-babble and a lot of very difficult things to read. Like, I felt like some of the text, like the way that the text was very difficult, such as some of this text, the way the typography was quite challenging to read for me, as well as these sorts of things. There was also, what was it? These ones, this sort of tech, you've got a lot of different typography. You've got that, you've got the more normal sort of stuff that I find that's probably the easiest for me to read personally. Then there's this sort of techno sort of thing, because there's this like weird creature thing that like is helping the Doctor currently. And then, as I say, there's these sort of scribbly ones that are quite challenging to read as well. But artistic wise, it's decent. I mean, you've got really cool effects there, like almost like a time vortex sort of thing, and then you've got like this melting effect there. There was one that I really liked. What was it? This that I really liked because it had no borders, which I thought was really interesting. This one of just the two companion people, and Sarah Jane. Spoiler alert, but Sarah Jane is in this comic book, and yeah, that was really cool to see her in this. David Tennant's pretty cool in this, or as cool as the 10th Doctor can be. He's not my favourite Doctor, but still, you get little glimpses and references back to Sutekh, the original one with the Pyramids of Mars. I kind of like him eating food in the TARDIS for some weird reason, and him having his 3D glasses. I think that's pretty cool. Reference and nod back to what episode? The Series 2 finale. Where were it now? There was a bit there where he's like reading a comic book, which I thought was kind of funny and quite meta, as it were. Breaking the fourth wall almost, and referencing the fact that he's almost in a comic book. But, well, he didn't say that, but it's kind of funny. Spoiler alert here, I guess, but there's also even a bit where we see Barusa here, who isn't the same Barusa, clearly, that we see in the Five Doctors or any other episode, which is quite interesting, And then there's loads of like Gallifreyan scribbles on the TARDIS, which I quite like as well. One thing that this issue does fairly well, or tries to do anyway, but doesn't quite succeed for me in its execution, is tries to build like this universe where there's lots of different planets and places, which almost kind of reminds me of the sort of Stephen Moffat, Matt Smith era, and that, like, we used to go to lots of different planets and worlds quite a bit, like that kind of reminds me of it. You've got that planet, and then you've got Earth, and then you've got another planet much later on, if I can even get to it. This one, like this place, it's been one of the more challenging reads for me, because there's, as I say, just a lot of technobabble and a lot of just like exposition and technobabble and bits and pieces. I mean, I enjoyed reading it from point A to point B and that, but obviously context would have helped. I think obviously if you're a huge David Tennant and or 10th Doctor fan, then it's obviously a no-brainer to pick this one up, but obviously I'd recommend, unlike me, getting issue 1 or getting part 1 at least of this story, then getting part 2 and 3 and 4 and that. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, I enjoyed it. I just about followed on what it might have been trying to say. I don't know. From point A to point B, and that it was a challenge, but I got through it. I enjoyed bits with the Sarah coming back. The cliffhanger's really, really good, really intriguing. I like some of the bits with the Doctor being in the TARDIS and that, and the bits with the callback to Gallifrey and or Barusa as well, and or the Doctor having like a bit of a nap and not daydreaming, but dreaming about being a kid and or being, like seeing Barusa and that on Gallifrey was interesting in that. But yeah, I mean, it's up to you, I guess, whether or not you even class that as canon, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting, and it was fun. It had some highs, but it had some lows as well, and a bit of lull here and there. But yeah, overall, I think it's a must-have for anyone who's a big fan of the 10th Doctor. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.